The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com.
We were on a break!
With Nick Eatman, David Hellman, Ambar Garcia, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Wednesday, March 20th, 2019, season 15, episode number, very first, number one, uno. It's the beginning of a new year.
Oh.
And I got my guys here with me.
It all makes sense.
What'd you guys get to before you
We
hit
got
Uno?
to, we got to, I don't know, I erased it before. I erased it before this show. I don't know. I don't remember.
Probably
what it was.
like 60.
It was no, it was in the hundreds. It was in the hundreds, definitely.
I got 13
it was probably around 100.
over here.
Probably around 115, 120. Yeah. I got my guys here with me, Nick Eatman, Dave Hellman, Brian Broaddus, and of course I'm back, so the show is now going to be really, really great. So I'm glad you guys tuned in today to hear some of this good talk on Cowboys football. And we've got some stuff to talk about. Cowboys have gotten a little busy this week in free agency. There are three players that have been in the building. One that the Cowboys have signed this week. And now, actually, there are a couple other guys that have been signed. We'll get into some of those a little bit later. But I want to start first with the big signing yesterday. Cowboys agreed to terms with Randall Cobb, wide receiver from the Green Bay Packers. They signed him to a one-year, $5 million deal. He is an 8-year vet, 28 years old. His best season was in 2014, where he had 91 catches, 1,287 yards, 12 touchdowns. Phenomenal year. However, he's missed only 11 games in the last 3 seasons. It's not horrible, but not great. And in 2018, had 9 games that he played, 6 starts, 38 receptions, 383 yards, 2 touchdowns. Why the drop in 2018? Let's start there.
Well,
go ahead. Sorry.
Well, the team wasn't very good either. I mean, like Aaron Rodgers dropped. I mean, that'd be a lot of. I mean, they had issues. Obviously, we're, as Parcells would say, trying to keep our house from burning down. So I don't really know exactly what was going on there, but I know that their team wasn't as good, and that's. Randall Cobb has been a really good player for that team and on a great quarterback and with a great quarterback. So when he has struggled and they've had a lot of dysfunction, it seemed like, with the offense and pointing fingers and all that. So he was a good role player and it all kind of went down. And so but he still, those two touchdowns, one of them I believe was a 75-yard touchdown to win the game against the Bears. So he's got some downfield production that we haven't seen from a slot receiver.
Yeah, they started the opening day with him, and I mean they've really featured him. He made some incredible plays, and then as you go through the season, there was a couple of times the Washington game. His numbers were low. I was trying to kind of see division opponents, maybe somebody he played that he would play against, and Washington just happened to be one of them. I mean, he runs a route that's beautiful that gets himself inside and just drops the ball. It would have been probably a 60-yard pass, but he doesn't drop many passes. I mean, Nick's right. I think where they had some dysfunction with the offense, the quarterback was kind of off early. He got banged up a little bit, and then they were trying to get him the football, when they could. But it just he's still, when you watch him play, everything underneath is really, really good. And everybody's kind of thinking, you can use him as an outside receiver as well. Down the field, I don't know if it's that. I mean, I'm not saying it's not like Beasley. I think it's probably a little bit better than what you get from Beasley down the field. But he's going to do very similar things to what Beasley does. Again, a report I just watched in the tape this morning, watching him play against New England and people like that. He does all the underneath stuff, but where he's different is the run after the catch. That's where, with Beasley you get a throw, it's an 8-yard catch, and he's down. With this guy, you get a catch, you get a move, another move, and then you get a 14, 15-yard gain with the way he plays. So I think that's where I think Beasley's probably quicker than him. Where I think, though, you talk about the physicality which the player plays with out of the slot is going to be different. And now with Randall Cobb, he's a secure catcher of the football. You put it anywhere in that catch radius, he's going to make a play. But the physicality in which he plays with is going to be completely different than Cole Beasley.
The irony, which to answer your question, he couldn't shake a hamstring injury last year. It kept him out. And as somebody who had him on my fantasy team, I know, like from week to week.
Every week you were looking at that.
It was like, it was like, well, Cobb will be back this week, and like that's Rodgers' guy. Like he's going to come through. Oh, nope, he's inactive again. Okay. Oh, he's inactive again. Okay, cool. So, I think he missed 6 games, 5 in a row, something like that. It was a big part of it. But 28-year-old Pro Bowlers aren't cheap if they're healthy. Like that's part of it. Hopefully he can shake it. It's funny. The reason I said irony is because the Cowboys have had so many problems with hamstrings, and I don't think there's an injury that makes fans matter faster than hamstring. Like you don't want to see that on an injury report. So it's something to watch. Hopefully he can shake it. But the year before last year, 2017, without Rodgers playing a significant chunk of the season, he had 66 catches for 653 and 4 touchdowns, which is right up there, if not better, than basically all of Cole Beasley's seasons.
You know what I like is what Brian is saying. Let's don't act like he's going to just go down the field all the time at vertical. But what I do think is, and this whole thing is about Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper is your stud wide receiver. He's your star. He can actually play all these positions. And when he does slide inside, because that is the most favorable matchup, you don't have to take Cobb off the field like Beasley really needed to come off the field. You can still do the things you need to do. It won't be a strong suit, but it is something that he can do.
Yeah. So talk to me about his comparison to Cole Beasley. Brian, you kind of started breaking out some of those comparisons. Is this a better move for the Cowboys? Have they upgraded this position, or do you think it's less than you had before, and why?
I think it's very similar to what you had. I think it's, if you're trying to protect yourself and say, okay, if we're going to lose something, what are we losing? We're losing this number of catches. I think this guy's capable of making those plays. I think where this guy, again, I keep saying this, where this guy's different is he has an idea that where the sticks are. When he catches the ball and it's a 3rd and 7 and he catches a 5-yard pass, he's going to run over somebody to get 8 yards. He is going to make sure that he's beyond the sticks. He's going to make sure. He's actually a pretty good red zone player, too. Now, again, Cowboys don't use red zone receivers very much since Des Bryant has walked out of here. It's hand the ball off, and so those numbers kind of get a little bit skewed. But you watch Rodgers and stuff throw him the football. I mean, he knows how to get separation. Cole Beasley's very similar. So I think that, to me, it's some of those things that, they completely upgraded. Where they upgraded is with a more physical player when it comes to throwing him the football underneath and then him getting north and south really quickly.
I think they completely upgraded, to be perfectly honest. And I hate to throw dirt on a guy leaving town. Like I think Cole Beasley's a really good player. I think he's an underrated player. And again, Randall Cobb's health is going to be a big part of this. If he can't get on the field, it's not going to matter. But you're talking about a guy who can play inside and outside. I know, he's probably not going to spend a ton of time just racing downfield because that's not Dak's game, but he can. Nick brought it up just now. He catches a 12-yard in, breaks a tackle, houses it 75 yards, and most of that is his work. Mm-hmm. Cole Beasley's not doing that. He never did that in his career. 2013, Hail Mary to beat the Bears to make the playoffs, gets behind the defense and catches a 65-yard bomb to win the game. Cole Beasley did that once in his final regular season game with the Cowboys.
Final catch.
On a broken play. Mm-hmm. He didn't catch any balls in the playoffs at all?
No, I was just talking about, if you remember the Giants game.
I'm being a stickler because I'm sure he caught some balls in the playoffs. But
sure.
Yeah.
That's not Cole Beasley's game. Randall Cobb can do that. Again, he can move out. I'm fascinated by the thought that Amari Cooper and Randall Cobb can both move inside and outside. They can both create separation within 12 yards. They can both go downfield.
Yeah.
It's gonna hinge on.
The downfield stuff gets covered with him.
With Cobb?
With Cobb,
okay, I got it.
The downfield stuff does get covered.
I'm sure it does.
I mean, the separation for Cobb is underneath. That's where the separation, the route running. He can, when you watch him play, his ability to, he has the same ability as Cole Beasley is to spin receivers, or excuse me, to spin the corners. Mm-hmm. His route run, it reminds me of like when you watch Miles Austin, Nick, run routes, Derek, when it's all the same speed. There's not any kind of hesitation or wasted motion or stuff. But I think when you talk about extended speed down the field, I'm not sitting there saying run him on 9 routes or run him on deep on digs and stuff like that.
I'm definitely not suggesting that. I am saying I think. Would you agree he poses a more realistic threat 15 and 20 and 25 yards down the field than Cole Beasley.
Yeah, I'd say in the 15 to 18 yard range, absolutely, because there's times when you watch him down the field when Rodgers would try and throw him the ball, there's not the separation.
Right.
The long speed is not. And that's, but you watch Cole Beasley. What's the problem with Cole Beasley? Cole Beasley was too short. You couldn't see him down the field.
Right.
Now, this guy's 5'10", but he is a physically bigger player than what Cole Beasley is. I'll say this, Cole Beasley is a quicker player than him. Yeah. I would say
I don't have any problem believing
he's a
that.
quicker player, but where this guy gets separation is his ability to win off the line and then lean on a guy and then get into the break. I think that's where he's gonna do some good.
He's had 13 touchdowns with 30 yards or more, and Beasley had 2. Now, again, I mean, it's just easy to compare the two, but I also think it's important to also remember that NFL teams are doing their homework. The Cowboys have done their homework, the Bills, all these teams have done their homework. There's a reason why Beasley's market value is higher. And it was even higher for the Cowboys, who I believe offered him a $6 million per year contract.
Probably all about the injuries.
Right. So it's like on paper, you can sit here and say he's more productive. He's got more touchdowns down the field, but more catches, more yards, stats, Pro Bowls. But the market value was higher for Beasley.
Yeah, and I think that's all about the fact that you look at right now the players that we're going to talk about a little bit throughout the show. They're players that the reason why the Cowboys have interest and the reason why the Cowboys are talking to them is because there's big upside. But there's risk, and the risk typically is associated with injury. And so it's either injury or age. And so it's one of those things where, of course, his value is higher because Cole has been a relatively healthy player for most of his career. Randall Cobb has not been. But the upside, if you can get him on one of those healthy years, can be significant. And that's why the Cowboys are willing to go here.
I think this is a higher upside than the guys that they typically bring in, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I mean, Kerry Hyder had an 8-sack year. I don't think even they're expecting that from him. He's clearly a bridge signing, a guy that can come in and play. Maybe you draft at that position. I think Randall Cobb, if he's healthy, I think his upside is far higher than most Cowboys free agents.
Yep. And the thing I love about this signing particularly is because I think it gives you one more guy in this offense who can take it the distance. Because you think about it right now, you got Zeke, you got Amari Cooper. You got Gallup, who's become a bit of a deep threat for them. Let's see if he continues to develop in that way. But you look at all those different options. You look at even a guy like Tavon. If they figure out how to use him, he has the ability with speed to be able to make big plays. The point is there are a lot of guys that will be on the field that defenses have to be aware that whenever they catch the ball, even if it's a short route, if the guy doesn't make the tackle, they have the speed to be able to get downfield and make a big play out of it. And that, I think, helps this offense.
Yeah, this guy doesn't have many poor passes thrown in his direction. But when there are poor passes, you could see, I mean, the guy's got some concentration on that. Rodgers will. We all know Rodgers. He'll throw the ball to guys, and you're like, he has no. Whoa! Oh my! They caught it. I mean, he'll put it between two guys. Like Cobb was running around against the Bears, where he wasn't. I don't think he was even expecting the ball. And next thing you know, it's between the linebacker and the safety. And I mean, Rodgers just puts it, and Cobb just puts his hands up, and it catches, and he's got 13, 14 more yards, and. So, this guy is one of those – you talk about somebody snatch the football, catch. This is what this quarterback here needs. He needs somebody, though, when it is a bad ball, when it is a bad throw, that, and we've seen Cole Beasley take it off the back of his helmet before. Yeah. So you need to continue to add guys like that can help the quarterback.
How does this affect Allen Hurns?
Guys, nobody – Allen Hurns can run for president here. And everybody would vote for him. I mean,
great guy.
Everybody comes up and hugs him and is glad to see him, and he's like,
more so than being a great guy, he is beloved by decision makers here.
Yeah,
I think that's important to remember.
I think the fact that Allen Hurns, when they made the trade and it looked like the receiver by committee thing was not going to work. Allen Hurns could have pouted and been pissed off, and he might have been in private. But you know what? He kept coming to work. When they did throw him the ball, he did make some plays. There was always a game where he had 1 or 2 catches, and you're like, oh, he had a touchdown. Oh, he had a 24-yard catch. Oh, okay. So I think that's why everybody respects Allen Hurns. That when it could have been really bad and he could have bitched, moaned, and complained, he didn't do any of that. And I think that's why people like him and respect him. Though I don't know how this affects him. I know people want to say, let him go, save money kind of a thing. I mean, I don't.
if you look at it purely black and white, yeah, you could cut him and save what, $4 million?
$6
million.
Yeah.
Looks like it would be a $5 billion savings.
I'll split the difference.
Yeah, you guys
Which
were right there.
you could still do that. You could. I mean, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. But I don't think this means anything right now. Again, it's a 90-man roster. You get into the offseason program, see how he's recovering. You could even take him to training camp.
See if Cobb stays healthy. Like that's another thing you got to consider. Right?
I mean, he's a guy that can play inside and outside. Again, people might not want to hear it. Like, they love his attitude and his work ethic. He's much like Terrence Williams before him. Like, he's willing to do the boring, dirty stuff that coaches love, and that means something, whether or not you want him here or not. So I wouldn't write him off at all.
No, I wouldn't write him off, but I'll say this. I think the guys underneath Hearns will be the one to maybe push him out. And I say this because if Austin is a part of this thing, which I think he will be from maybe a punt return, if Austin's a part of this, you've got Cobb, you've got Gallup, you've got Cooper, you've got 4 wide receivers aren't playing special teams for you. So you got another guy in there, Hearns, who doesn't do that. I think that if you see development out of Noah Brown, maybe Cedric Wilson, we'll see about Lenore. I don't know. I'm not expecting a lot from him, but I still think that
they draft someone.
They
That's
might
another
draft
part
someone.
to it, right?
Ooh, now we're cooking.
If they draft someone, then,
now it becomes really interesting, right?
Especially in the top 5 rounds or so. So I just think that somebody might knock Hearns out. It won't necessarily be Cobb. It could be the development of a younger, cheaper guy.
If they
can play special teams.
If they were to use a remotely valuable draft pick on a wide receiver, I think that changes things.
For Hearns, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's take our first break. When we come back, I want to talk about Robert Quinn and Eric Berry, 2 other players that were in the building yesterday. We'll talk about what the prospects are and why the Cowboys maybe should or should not sign these 2 players. We'll do that when we come right back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
Kaboo, Texas is 3 days, 6 stages, over 100 artists, including The Killers, Lionel Richie, Leonard Skinner, Ms. Lauryn Hill, Kid Rock, Alanis Morissette, Little Big Town, The 8 Vet Brothers, Counting Crows, Pitbull, Sting, The Black Eyed Peas, and the list goes on. Don't miss Kaboo, Texas. Single day and 3-day passes are on sale now. Visit KAABOOTexas.com to get your passes today.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
Do you want the most interesting, up-to-the-minute Dallas Cowboys news straight from the Star in Frisco? How about exclusive and on command? That's right. News and nuggets you can't find anywhere else. With our exclusive Cowboys content on Alexa, you can have all the answers, secrets, stories, and more. What's Stephen Jones thinking during a game? What's Joe Looney's favorite pregame meal? We take your questions to Cowboys players and coaches, and you can hear the answers directly back to you. Just say, Alexa, open Dallas Cowboys.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with sideline access and photo ops with current players, alumni, and cheerleaders. That's not all, though. You'll get to talk X's and O's with Senior Director of Player Personnel Will McClay, and of course with yours truly, me, Brian Broaddus. You can trust the official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and with us, you'll travel like a pro. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
While a player could look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
Back to the break.
Welcome back. It is the second segment of the break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. We're talking free agency. Cowboys getting active here in the second week of free agency. Made a signing, or agreed to terms, I should say, yesterday. And today we keep waiting to hear more on Robert Quinn, Eric Berry. Let's start first with Robert Quinn. He visited yesterday. He is still under contract with the Dolphins, so this would require an actual trade where the Cowboys would have to give up something. We don't know what, but would have to give up something in order to acquire his services, and then presumably would have to talk to him about the contract if they don't want to pay what he's already being paid.
Pretty unique scenario there. I mean, I'm sure it's happened before, but it's not usual to, a guy under contract with another team making the rounds looking for a new place to play. So
yeah, because it's not like whatever he sees, whatever he likes, good relationship with the coach. Not like it really matters if the Dolphins aren't looking to.
He could have been banging on the table here yesterday, like, get me here. And the Cowboys are like, we're not paying what the Dolphins are asking for. Sorry.
Right. Or we're not paying the contract that you're still. So you have to give us. Yeah. So, there's two factors to it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. But also, I think what some of this is Marinelli got a chance to meet with them, and I know some of the other coaches did as well. If you like him, you like really what he can bring. Maybe this isn't a 1 year thing. Maybe it's like, all right, well, you trade for you, and he's supposed to make $11 million, and maybe you give him $11 million over, up front, and then over maybe a 2 to 3 year deal. Right. I don't know.
Yeah, smart thing by Chris Greer down there, the general manager from the Dolphins. He realizes that he's in a scheme change. And if you look, the reason why that Quinn get to the Dolphins was because of a scheme change in the Rams. So he's just trying to facilitate, getting rid of some salary, but also maybe getting a pick out of this thing. So smart move on his part. When you say
scheme change, explain for the folks out there what you're saying.
Scheme change, yeah. He went from 4-3 under Jeff Fisher and had great success. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden Wade Phillips comes in. They try and make him a stand-up outside linebacker. No, he's a wide 9, outside technique.
Hand on the ground.
Hand on the ground and go get. I mean, you can watch him play Tyron Smith, and there's trouble for Tyron Smith in a lot of those games. So, yeah, he goes to the Dolphins. You got Brian Flores is now the coach, New England. Okay, here we go. It's the same thing that happened with Hyder in Detroit. All of a sudden, he's playing as an under tackle, and they get to a 3-4 front. Okay, he now playing a nose. It's not good anymore. So you can move on from guys that way. And so I feel like the team I was worried about was the Saints. But I'm kind of getting a buzz that the Saints really might not be interested. That this might be just something
they're looking.
They're looking. They're kicking the tires. So let's see if that happens. But if you can work a trade, I think this is a great move for the Cowboys because I think it gives them a little bit more leverage in the DeMarcus Lawrence potential signing. If you ask me,
I think it's a great move for a variety of reasons. And you can go back multiple years. Like, this is the type of stuff I've been begging for the Cowboys to do. I don't want you to give Earl Thomas $50 million. I want you to trade a 2020 pick and take on a little bit of salary and a former first round pick, a veteran who, he had a quote unquote bad year last year and still had 6.5 sacks, which would have been second on this team.
Yep. Right.
Bring that guy in. It reminds me of the Timmy Jernigan trade. I bring that up all the time. Eagles moved back in the third round, 10 spots, and get this badass defensive tackle who lines up next to Fletcher Cox and makes their defensive line that much better on a Super Bowl run. These are the types of moves that smart, aggressive teams do in free agency. The salary makes me curious because I wonder what they'd be willing to pay him on top of giving up the pick. But I think it's a great idea. I really hope they pull that one off. I think especially, and you say it will give them leverage with Lawrence. I say it gives them a right end if Randy Gregory can't play.
Well, I look at it as this way: if it becomes an impasse, at least you have somebody that can rush the passer, whether it's Randy Gregory or not.
Yeah. Wait, hold on about Randy Gregory. I think it gives you a right end. Period. I mean, and then we'll see what happens with Gregory. I mean, I think he's a better player than Gregory.
Yeah.
Well, that was actually my question. And really what I want you guys is I want you to tell me kind of if you had to rank those three players, where does Quinn fall in relation to Tank and in relation to Randy Gregory? Is he the best of them? Is he worse than Tank but better than Lawrence? Better than Randy Gregory? Where does he fit in that group?
It's interesting. Who's your most important position if you had to say on the defensive line?
Well, in this defense, right end.
Right end. And they play Lawrence at left end. Does that tell you something?
We've been fighting about that for years because,
does it tell you something? They don't think he could play right end.
They traded up 13 spots in the draft for him because they said he was the last right end on the board. He's playing left end.
Yeah.
You don't think he could play right end?
I don't think he could play right end as well as he's played left end. No, I really don't.
I'd be curious to see him try. I think
Robert Quinn. I think Robert Quinn is a bad right end.
I think that's.
You think he would come in here and be the best defensive end on the team?
I think as far as pass rushing, absolutely, yes.
Wow.
That's big.
How much tape have you watched of him to say that?
I tell you what, I've watched enough tape to know the way he plays, the style he plays. Okay. I've seen him play enough. When you start talking about explosiveness, pass rush moves, he does things. Lawrence is rare as a left end. We had this discussion yesterday. Look at the left ends in pro football. If you're a left end and can rush the passer, you're rare. I'm not saying that Lawrence is a poor rusher. I'm just saying he plays left end. The left ends in this league that have had great success: Reggie White, Michael Strahan, Khalil Mack. Okay, those are
pretty damn good players.
I was going to say, I'll take that.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
No, I hear you.
But you're talking about they don't play him at right end. They've had a chance to play him at right end, and they don't. That tells me something right there.
You don't think he could do it if they just moved him over there? Like, I basically refuse to believe that he wouldn't be good at it.
Have they moved him?
Maybe that's because they don't feel good about what that would look like.
It's
like they don't have a guy that can handle
under
left end as well as he
under
can.
tackle, right end and under tackle, the two most important positions. What position does he play? That's what I'm just saying.
He plays left end.
He plays left end.
But do they have a guy that can play left end if Lawrence isn't doing it?
Now this is where if you get Quinn. You've seen Crawford play during the suspension of Lawrence. You saw Crawford play left end. What does your left end have to be able to do? He has to be able to play against the run.
Right.
That's where Lawrence is rare. He could play the run. He could rush the pass. Yeah.
That's basically.
It's more important to them for him to play the run at left end and rush the passer over there than it is for him to play at right end.
Exactly. And he's too well-rounded of a player, and maybe it works against him. I bet if you line him up at right end and say, go get the quarterback and don't worry about anything else, I bet he'd be pretty damn good at it. That's all I'm saying.
Think he had more sacks?
Yeah.
You do?
I think he could push for it, yeah. If his only responsibility was rushing the passer, sure.
I don't think he'd have more sacks just because of the matchup going up against the left tackles.
That's true, too.
But,
maybe I would like to see it.
Yeah,
I would like to see it.
But what they have is working. I mean, really, you're talking about an upgrade over Randy Gregory or Taco, or and I think
that's what you have to figure out. Taco, you have to figure out. Okay, if in fact that you were to do something with Lawrence, say this whole thing, I think it really hinges on the agent here. I really do. I think this whole deal hinges on the agent, and I hope if it gets close enough that the agent's not stubborn enough, and then that Lawrence goes to the agent and says, "We need to get this thing done."
So let's.
I don't want this thing. I don't want this thing to fester, because you got two things happening. You have a coaching staff that's fighting for their lives right now, and you're talking about not having enough players for them to keep their jobs, and then you got the players thinking, what are our chances without Lawrence?
Let's speak plainly. So most people, like common logic, you look at any beat writer, me included, us included, people are on Twitter saying, this isn't about DeMarcus Lawrence. This is about they don't have Randy Gregory. They need help with their pass rush. They're picking 58. This is a great way to do that. You're saying that this is a shot across the bow at DeMarcus Lawrence.
I think it's Will McClay, Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones. Look at all the moves. You had a tweet yesterday talking about, well, they filled this need. Well, they filled this need. Well, they filled this need.
Yeah.
It's all about protecting yourself on the roster. That's what this is. And if, in fact, that they cannot come to an agreement with Tank Lawrence, then, okay, what's our next option? Well, if we've got Robert Quinn, at least we've got a pass rusher that Brian Broaddus thinks is pretty damn good, whether that means anything or not.
Yeah. But, here's the deal. I actually agree with you that I do think that this will give them leverage, and I think it's leverage that they probably will use, knowing how aggressively they go when it comes to trying to negotiate deals. They're very aggressive in negotiating deals. So I think they'll use this leverage. How I personally feel about it is, though, I would actually look at it the opposite way if I were them. And what I mean by that is, if I were able to get Robert Quinn, that would actually give me more impetus to figure out how to get it done with Lawrence. Because now I have an opportunity, and you don't get this opportunity very often.
Yeah.
I have an opportunity to have two really, really outstanding defensive ends that can rush the passer. That, again, if we're talking, go back to why I wanted them to go after Earl Thomas, is because I wanted them to take the step from being a good defense to being a great defense. You get two pass rushers like the quality of these guys, that can also push you to the direction of becoming a great defense.
Your direction and your desire to go that direction is great until you meet the big roadblock in front of you.
The agent.
Until you
have to deal with the money. I get it.
You're a team that can't just sit there and say, "Oh, we've got one player." Wait till next year. We're doing this show. Well, can you believe they haven't signed any of these 7 guys yet? How are they going to play without Dak? How are they going to play without Zeke? How are they going to play without Byron Jones?
Well, but you know as much as I do, Brian, and this is something that you've seen for years.
Done,
you can get it done. You can do whatever you want to do. You just got to be willing to figure it out.
But that's what I'm saying. Your willingness to figure it out might not be the gentleman who's living, or the lady that's living somewhere else.
And that's what I said. I said I think that they're going to negotiate this hard, as they always do.
Sure.
I think they're going to use this as leverage if they can sign Robert Quinn, if they can trade for Robert Quinn. I think they're going to use this as leverage. Personally, my opinion, I would actually get the deal done with Tank regardless, because I think that gives me an opportunity to have 2 outstanding pass.
You think this deal should have been done? I'm going to ask everybody here 3 months ago?
Yes.
2 months ago? Whatever?
I don't think I would have even gotten to free agency. Now, of course, again, I'm not writing that check. And there may be things that I don't see about the salary cap that they do, obviously. But at the end of the day, the way I look at it is this signing is about much more than the amount of money and the player. It is about the fact that you ask this guy, show me another year. You ask this guy to not only be a good player, but you ask him to be a good player. You asked him to be a leader. You asked him to bring his teammates along. And what did he do this year?
No question.
I think the success of that defense, in large part, was due not just to his play, but his leadership of all the other guys that were on that defense. He did all the things you wanted him to do. He checked all the boxes. For me, I say you pay a guy like that.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
If he'd had a bad season, they would have run to the table to offer him a low ball. They would have rushed in there to lowball him, and he didn't have a bad season, and now they don't want to deal with it, and that's frustrating.
Why don't they want to deal with it, David?
Because it's going to be really expensive.
Yeah.
And here's the part that we don't know.
But then they know that?
I don't know what the
That's
agent.
what makes it frustrating is they decided to play this game by franchising him. They were like, do it again, and you'll be in line for even more money. Well, he did it again, and he's in line for more money, and now you have to pay him.
But here's the part. Works. I don't know what the agent's asking.
You're right.
If the agent is asking, we want to be the highest paid defensive end in the NFL, then I see why the Cowboys would be like, sorry, that ain't gonna happen.
The same, you entered into that game. That's how this works. That's how the market works.
I get that, but that also means that now you have to negotiate it hard because you're not willing to make him. And I don't think he should be the highest paid defense. I don't think he's the best defensive end in the NFL. So I don't think he should be paid as the best defensive end in the NFL.
Kirk Cousins isn't close to being the best quarterback in the NFL.
And that's a bad deal.
The market.
No, that's a bad deal. That's a bad deal.
That's a bad deal.
What's a bad deal for Lawrence?
It's a 3-year deal. What's wrong with that?
What's a bad deal for Lawrence?
Because you're paying him an amount of money that he's not due. Like, he has not earned that amount of money.
The market says that he did.
No, a team said that he did. That doesn't say the market said that he did.
The Vikings paid for the potential for him to be good. He doesn't have a winning record. He's never won a playoff game. Like, I think that the market was, and that's what you have to do. You have to pay for what's going to happen.
That's my point. Is like that's how this works. It might not be fair, but it's like the one thing in this league that favors the players, and that's how it works. That's what happens.
Cowboys are telling you they're willing to give him $20 million.
Yeah,
that's what they're telling you.
See, I don't think
they're telling you that
is going to be rushed into anything. I don't think this is leverage for him or against him or anything like that. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, he's got a $20 million, franchise tag.
Yeah, but if he doesn't want to play on that franchise tag, let's assume for a second that he just decides, okay, well, I'm going to keep holding out. He does a Le'Veon Bell. Well, if the Cowboys have Robert Quinn, now they're like, okay, you can go and sit, and we don't have to pay you.
He could sign. I think he'll still sign the deal and just play at $20 million.
Yeah, the thing about
he'll sign the deal and go get a surgery.
That's what I'm saying. If he signs the deal and doesn't play for you till October, the end of October, that's a bad situation. This is going to sound really silly. I would rather trade him than live through that.
Yes.
I would rather trade him. I would rather trade him than live with him going into training camp, not being there every day. Jason, any word on Lawrence yet? No, Nick, no word. Brian, Brian, any word on Lawrence? Any signing on Lawrence? Anything going on?
We do not have that information.
Yeah, it's we can only focus on the players that are here. We can only focus on the guys that are here.
If the choice
every day.
If the choice is between trade him or, again, I think we talked about this last week. Like, you get to training camp and he starts on PUP and he's wearing a jersey and no pads and doing hamstring conditioning for 4 weeks and then easing into it like in September and, October, we're playing the Bills. He might be ready for, no way. I don't want that. I don't want the headache. It's not going to make the team better. The relationship is going to be bupkis. Just no thank you.
Yeah.
And if he's not a happy player, I don't know if I necessarily want him in the locker room.
If you can't find a way
affecting other young players,
if you can't find a way to get this deal done by the draft,
but you know what's funny, and again, here's things that Brian says
I
that
think
get him fired.
Lunacy. Just for the record, I think that's insane.
What is
he
trading him?
Oh.
But I would rather just rip that Band-Aid off than draw this thing out.
Yeah. I think they're going to get a deal done. It's just a matter of timing, and that's what bothers me about this. Is I want the timing to happen now. I want him in all of the mini camps and OTAs leading that defensive unit. That's what I want.
What were you going to say that was going to get you fired?
Oh, no, I was going to. But
I was trying to get away from that.
No. This is good. This is good radio.
No. Is he wrong? Is he wrong in his demands?
Well, it depends on what he's asking for. If he's asking to be the highest paid defensive end, then I think he is wrong for that.
Okay. You think he's wrong?
No. I don't think he's the best defensive end.
You don't think he's wrong?
No.
I don't think that's what he's asking for.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know that.
I don't really either. All I've heard is one comment from the agent at the Pro Bowl, and it sounded like it's like, what is this a big deal? I mean, it's $20 million. I mean, why is this taking so long? It starts at $20 million. So
yeah,
I don't.
Starts at 20.
At $20 million. Like
that's what I'm saying.
That's the word there.
That's what I'm saying.
At $20 million.
You've already said, the Cowboys have already said, hey, we'll give you $20 million.
Yeah. Once you
said what we'll give you, now now where are we?
Yeah. That means my counter offer is going to be 25.
Well, we'd like to pay you. We'll give you $20 million, but we'd like to pay you 16 a year.
That's not going to work.
Well, Dee Ford's contract was what, 17 a year.
Please don't look at that contract.
Why?
Please. No.
For them.
For them,
yeah.
They would love a Dee Ford. If they walked in right now and said, "We'll take Dee Ford money," the Cowboys. Oh, well, here. Here's my pen. Here's my pen.
Dee Ford isn't in the same stratosphere.
That's what I'm saying.
He's not even close.
No, I know. I'm saying that's that money. So he's way better, more than that. And
there's no question.
With these other contracts that are going to be coming in, that's what they're waiting on here. There's 3 other defensive ends that are Clowney.
We sound like Mickey now.
Yeah, Clowney.
So you're just kind of wanting to see what the market looks like, right?
Yeah, right.
Mickey's the same.
There's
no reason for him to sign the deal.
But that's also the interesting part about this. Defensive end, I think we would all agree, is probably one of the most important positions in the NFL.
And that's
the fact that you have such premium names sitting out there that haven't been signed yet kind of suggests that they need to kind of wait to see what the market does a little bit, right?
But he's the best one, I think, in that group. And I think the Cowboys would agree with that.
Clowney?
Is he better than Clowney?
Yeah.
He's more reliable than Clowney.
I think he's better than Clowney.
Clowney had some issues early on. Has he not been reliable the last year or two?
I'd rather have.
I thought he played a ton of games these last 2 years.
Watt. He's playing opposite.
Watt's been the guy that hasn't been
Gregory and
reliable.
He's also
Tyrone.
Who's playing right in?
He's got an all-pro playing across the line from him.
It ain't Watt.
Yeah. I'll pull this up for you.
Okay. Well, while he's pulling it up, I did have one other question for you on Robert Quinn. Let's assume for a second Cowboys are interested, Dolphins are interested. How much are you willing to give? What kind of pick are you willing to give in order to acquire services?
If I don't have another team involved and it's going to take me a 2020 pick with the thought of maybe, I don't know the compensatory fate of this team yet, of what they've lost, we'll see. But if I was thinking, if you went 2020, you could probably go a 4.
Would you do a 4 this year knowing you have 2?
That might be, if you had another team that was competing against you, say if the Saints, who like to mess with you, that coach messes with you. He does.
They do like to mess with you.
He does.
You're right. Clowney hasn't missed very many games.
Yeah, he's been pretty reliable the last couple of years.
Still think Tank is better.
Maybe Clowney? So. I think they're comparable. I don't think one's
right
better than the other. You can play tight end. Right in.
Yeah. Who plays? Hey, Russ is from the right side.
Scheme nonsense.
They put a two-time defensive player of the year over on that left side.
Scheme nonsense. Go away.
But no, the whole thing with I think that you have to think about if you don't get in. They took a 4 for their quarterback. Do you start at the 4 because you have 2, or do you? Or
honestly, everything the Dolphins have done since they hired their new coach suggests that they're going full freaking.
Tank.
They're going full Brooklyn Nets, like Tankapalooza.
It does kind of feel like that, doesn't it?
What does that team have right now? They are garbage. Sorry, Miami Dolphins.
Wow.
No, I mean, they're doing
They
it
have
on
a player you might want.
They're trying to build it from the studs up. Yeah, they're trying to get rid of him.
If you're doing that,
Oh,
then
now
they
you
got,
sound like
that means
Mickey.
they have to get good value
My
back.
point
right?
is,
Yeah.
I'm trying to give a 2020 pick because that's when
Oh,
they're
no,
trying
that's
to.
what you're doing.
I'm not trying to give picks that I'm using 3 weeks
If
from
you
now.
don't get
But
it,
the
if,
Dolphins could have a 2020 pick if they just hang on to him
Depending.
and they get a compensatory pick.
yeah, but it'd be for
Then it's
2021.
2021, and also then they're stuck paying his salary
Right,
to
right.
play in a scheme that he doesn't fit in
Yeah.
for a year.
Yeah.
And
he'll
that'll
get
decrease his
6.5
value.
sacks.
That decreases his value, yeah.
I'd give him a fourth, but I'd rather give him a fifth. But yeah, I mean,
I'd
if
start
the
at
fourth,
5.
If a fourth gets it done,
If
then
nobody
that's
else is
fine.
in,
Yeah,
if nobody else is in, let's go 5.
Yeah, I'd start with 5 and then go to the 4.
go.
And then that's it.
And think I might get a compensatory next year for one of my guys. I mean, you're going to have all these,
Yeah, no, they are. I mean, somebody,
Yeah.
When they trade Tank, they'll get a whole bunch of stuff for him. So that'll be cool.
But I mean, I would give them a third if I got their 4th, something like that.
move up.
yeah.
flip
Yeah,
flop
those are
spots.
always the fun trades where it's
Yeah.
like, well, we got a third, but we gave up a fourth. Yeah,
I mean,
whatever.
because they're picking late in the third, Cowboys late in the third. The Dolphins would be higher in the 4th. I would do that.
Let me ask you this though,
3/4.
since you brought it up real quick, would you take if someone gave you 2 picks for Tank that Indy trade that we did
On the draft
would you
show?
Yeah, would you pick the players that at say Indy trade 26, 58, 59? Would you pick the players or would you try and move that thing up?
I think I'd rather just have 3 players.
Sounds like this is a pretty deep draft from what I've heard. You guys
Yeah.
would know more about that.
Yeah.
But it sounds like a pretty deep draft, so maybe I keep the picks and
You think we could get 26 and 34 out of the Colts?
Boy, I tell you what, that'd be
both.
Yeah,
See, they hold
for,
they
for,
hold
a top,
Tank?
for a top 5 pass rusher.
Yeah.
working for a defensive coordinator that knows him really well on a team that's
got cap money.
Did you do that in
went
a
pretty
heartbeat,
deep in the
Brian?
playoffs.
What's that?
Would you do that in a heartbeat?
I love Lawrence. I absolutely love Lawrence, and it would hurt your team, but I'm trying like hell to get Quinn to help myself to protect myself.
See, which goes back. Derek made, and I agree with Derek. Which that's rare for you and me. I know.
To say, wow, that's
But
awesome.
if you add Quinn to this team and sign Lawrence, you have taken a definitive step forward.
There's no question
toward
No
winning
question.
a Super Bowl, which is the goal, right?
That
if
is
you
the goal.
If you get rid of Lawrence, even if you get a whole bunch of picks for him, don't try to sell me that you're going for the Super
The
Bowl
problem,
You're gonna get
David,
another
the
taco? I mean,
problem
like,
is
that's my problem.
The
Right.
problem
Or
is I get to
whatever.
July and the guy hadn't had
I
shoulder
know.
surgery and it's October and I'm not going to get anything for him next year.
I know. I'm just saying, don't try to sell me that the Super Bowl is the goal if you get rid of that guy.
Well, don't try and sell me we sign our own either.
Well, good point.
All right, we're going to take our final break on that. We'll come right back. We're going to talk a little bit about Eric Berry and a couple other guys at Cowboys that
Buy or
signed
sell,
during
buy
the
or
last
sell.
couple days. We'll do that when we come right back. DallasCowboys.com radio.
While a player could look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
It's time for Tailgate with the OtterBox boys.
OtterBox, the makers of those crazy protective phone cases?
The one and only, they're also wild about protecting parking lot parties from sad drinks. It's why they made Elevation Tumblers.
Rumor around the crockpot is they're made from stainless steel with a copper lining to keep temps hot or cold.
True, they even come in 7 different sizes, up to 64 ounce, the Growler.
I like how OtterBox drinks. Thinks.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Check out all the colors and sizes of their Elevation Tumblers at OtterBox.com.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Playmaker, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The Playmaker includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized Intense Therapy lip balm and a Cowboys can cooler. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word Cowboys. The Jack Black Playmaker, $10, free shipping.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with sideline access and photo ops with current players, alumni, and cheerleaders. That's not all, though. You'll get to talk X's and O's with Senior Director of Player Personnel Will McClay, and of course with yours truly, me, Brian Broaddus. You can trust the official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and with us, you'll travel like a pro. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Back to the break.
Welcome back. This is the final segment of the break live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios.
Probably get away with it, couldn't it?
At the start. No, you
we're
cannot.
not FCC
Sure,
regulated.
you could have done it. You could have done it last week when I wasn't on the show and I was on a beach tweeting you guys or texting you guys. But this week with me in studio, probably not a good idea.
And Andre Dillard, the Washington State tackle, he is flying up the boards.
And just so you guys know, if you're not catching the draft show, you're missing out. You guys got to make sure you check that out every Thursday.
You need to talk about him, David.
We're going to, at some point, we'll let you guys know more details. We're going to actually take that thing on the road. Here. We just found it out this morning.
Vegas?
We'll take it to it. No.
Hawaii?
No. We're just going to take it on the road here in Dallas.
Oh.
Concrete cowboy.
Right. We'll be on the road here in Dallas.
The road, a.k.a.
So you have an
Come see
opportunity
us,
to come
though.
out and have some Miller Lights
Come
with
see us, yeah.
And talk some drafts. So, all right, let's get back into it. I want to talk about Eric Berry. He is the final of the three that we're talking about today.
Pretty eventful show today.
Excuse me. He visited.
Can you imagine Earl Thomas coming in and being in the third segment?
Pretty still they visited.
He's a Texas guy. He'd be first segment.
First, second, and third segment, Brian.
They visited with an all-pro at the position that everyone that follows the Cowboys has been desperately trying to address for 3 years, and we're saving it for the third segment.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason why. And I'll ask you guys this question: if you look at Eric Berry and where he is in his career, I would say of all the guys we've talked about today, he's the guy I'm least excited about bringing in. I would be more excited about Cobb and Quinn than I would be about Eric Berry. But you guys feel free to.
Well, I don't know about. I don't know how
bit.
good he would be, but I think as far as the likelihood to get him, I think he's lower than Quinn, just because you're talking about a trade. I mean, I think this is Eric Berry, what he's gone through in his life and everything that's happened to this point. This is his last chance to really get big money, and I think he's going to go for that. And I don't know if the Cowboys could be that.
But
team.
Is anybody going to be willing to pay?
Maybe, and I don't know if they will actually. But and then it comes down to good fit, good need, and I think that. And I was thinking about this with Quinn as well. I think that if you look at the Cowboys' defense, if I'm a defensive player and I have the option to come here, I think the Cowboys would rank right up there with any of the other teams as far as this team is good enough to go win. I mean, if you're a defensive end or a safety, you've got two badass linebackers there in between. You've got a Pro Bowl corner. You've got a Pro Bowl defensive end, maybe another one in Quinn. I mean, it would be attractive to come here for this team.
Can I ask you a question, though? You hate my scheme questions.
Yeah. No. Does he fit? They don't like what he can do. He's go ahead. No, go.
No, I like it. That was a good voice. I appreciate that. Does he fit?
I think he fits.
I mean,
and I'll tell you why.
If you think of what you have with Xavier Woods,
he fits
wherever he plays. Wherever he plays.
No, I disagree. I think put him in the box. That's fine. What can he do at this point in his career? I know he can tackle. And that's what I want my box safety to do anyway.
Okay,
he's probably
better Jeff Heath, right?
Yes,
better than Jeff.
Yes,
yeah.
Better Jeff Heath.
Pro Bowl pedigree, all pro caliber work ethic. Put him in a locker room with Xavier Woods and all these other 23-year-old defensive backs.
About time you've shown some passion for some players.
And you're getting
talking to you pisses me off.
Yeah. You're getting two.
You need to be on every week. I like pissed off
days.
You're
getting two really great Pro Bowl caliber players in one signing.
Yeah, there
because you would get Eric Berry at safety, and you would get Jeff Heath at special teams. And Jeff Heath, if he played just special teams, would be a Pro Bowler.
Not only
that's smart. Right
Jeff
there.
Heath at third safety too, because we know they like to do that. That is the role he was meant for. I want him on this team. Right. I don't want him starting 100%.
How about third safety
snaps.
Gardner Johnson from Miami?
I don't want to spend my second-round pick on that guy. Well, if they have Eric Berry.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this question, though. Does it not scare you guys? He's only played 3 games in 2 years.
It's terrifying.
It is terrifying.
He's played in 3 games in 2 years. Right. He didn't make it through one of those.
That's my point.
Yeah. No, I mean...
You would now have 2 players that you worry about during the games.
Which, to answer your question...
Sean Lee.
He's the Sean Lee of safeties. That's what you keep saying.
Bobby Belt.
Good. It's a good line.
It's a great line.
But... I rank him second behind Quinn. No disrespect to Randall Cobb. I think,
But that's high praise because you said in the first segment, you said that you thought the signing of Randall Cobb was a really great signing.
It is, but if you're getting a healthy Eric Berry, even if he's like 3 steps slower than he used to be, I think it's an upgrade. I think everything I know about the guy, I've never met him, but everything I've ever heard is that he would be a hugely positive influence in the same vein as a Sean Lee, a guy who would take these young dudes under his wing. And again, if he's healthy, play at a great level, maybe not an all-pro level, but better than what we've seen from that position, I think it would be huge. And the only reason I wouldn't do it is cost. And I have a hard time believing a guy that's only made it through 2 games in the last 2 years who's 30 and,
Yeah, but what we were kind of thinking, we were hoping for Earl Thomas. Remember, I was going, one more day, survive one, and the next thing you know, they just blow you away. And we were talking about, well, can Earl stay healthy? Can he,
I don't think that's close.
You don't
to
think
the same
you don't
thing.
think people are you think people are thinking about this guy as not being healthy at all, right?
I mean, when
That's
you only
how
play
I view
3
it.
games in 2 years, that
And
scares the heck out of me.
You're talking, what did Earl broke a bone? That's a freak. Like we're talking
Guy's
about
got a heel problem.
talking about ligaments
Achilles,
and I don't know.
Whoa, wait a minute now. You guys have gone from the top of the mountain to like jumping off the cliff.
No.
You have. Everybody's like all excited about this, and now you're killing my vibe on
As
this guy.
always, you're excited about it.
Am I right, Nick?
At a
Why did
purpose.
he miss 2 years ago?
He tore his Achilles in the 3rd quarter of the first game of the year.
Yeah.
And then last year
He's got
he
a
had
heel.
a very severe bone spur that I don't know if it was related to the Achilles, but it's got its own name. I don't remember what it is, but it's like a bone spur that digs into your Achilles, and
Ouch.
supposedly it hurts like.
It's called. Yeah.
That sounds like
Yeah.
Bitch.
Oh
is
my
what it
gosh!
is.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Does he
So-
fix that?
Is that gone?
I mean, it sounds like it. He played in the playoffs.
Yeah,
so
he sure did.
I would assume.
No, but
he
you
fixed it.
guys had me going.
No, but here's the
you had
thing.
me going, and now all of a sudden we're like
You're in the second wave of free agency.
I'm
You're not
signing
getting.
him.
You're not getting players that
I'm
come
signing
with
him.
And don't get me
Yeah.
wrong,
Yeah,
I'm
everybody's in.
in. I'm in. I'm saying that I think I'm trying to temper my expectations a little bit because this is the classic example of huge upside, but there's a lot of risk involved, right?
Yeah.
And if a guy's only played 3 games in 2 years, there's a ton of risk. But if you can get the money to work,
There's no risk involved if it's at the right price.
right? If you get the money to work, you mitigate the risk, and then all you're doing is looking at potential upside. So from that standpoint, I think if they can get the right deal, the right 1-year deal, then this could work. This could work really, really well.
You guys are going all in, aren't
I would not
you?
do a 1-year deal.
I would do it.
What would you do?
I would do a 3-year deal.
Oh, I'm scared of that.
Okay, would you
I'm
give?
doing a 1-year deal.
I asked for
I mean, I'm front loading a lot of it,
Earl Thomas
but
money.
I don't know. I haven't. I
The
can't
money
trust it
Earl
enough
Thomas
to
got
do
in
more.
No. 2 years, $11 million guaranteed.
Sign me up. Let's
Okay.
go.
Yeah,
I can do something like
Meet
that.
in the middle. But all I'm saying is this guy's doing great. Even we saw it with Suafilo. Suafilo had one good start against Fletcher Cox, and we're like, "Whoa, is he his 1-year deal? He'll be back again."
All right, Nick, give me a break, okay? I'm sorry about
What? No. I love Suafilo.
I'm just kidding.
I was the one doing it. I was like, I don't want him for
but
1 year.
that's
it's a different thing. But I'm just saying that
No,
this
but-
guy blows up, you don't want to have to do this again.
No,
Sign him
but
for 2 years.
I hear what you're saying, but if a 1-year deal gets it done, that's fine because you can get a comp pick for him if he blows up. You can draft a guy this year that can step in. 1-year deal is fine.
And not only that,
I'd rather do it too.
But if you do a 2, that's not very much money, and he blows up, you're still going to have to be back at the negotiating table next year.
Probably.
Because he's going to be like, I deserve more money.
No,
So
you don't have to fight anyone else, though.
maybe not. Maybe it becomes very messy, and it ends up in the situation where you got it.
We got a lot of guys
where
who have to
Brian
fight.
is saying you got to go ahead and just trade him. Just go ahead and trade him.
Maybe.
If the
Right.
Texans got Honey Badger for $7 million last year, I just can't imagine it would cost a ton more to
Right.
sign Eric Berry.
I just think you get him on a 1 year, and let's just see. It's a prove it kind of deal. I would pay him. I might be willing to even pay him $11 million. Yeah, no, I might even pay him like that $7 million for a year,
Hey,
right?
but
I would
all
give him
these-
more money for that
amazing
1
what you
year.
guys
But I
have
just
done.
don't.
All
I don't
these 1-year deals,
trust
though,
it.
you better get D Law re-signed because that 5 for Cobb, 8 for Barry or something like that, 11 for Quinn. If that happens, I'm just saying.
But that all goes
You
off the
can't-
book next year.
You can't play around with 1-year deals though. They're 1 year. They go in. So
no, I
I'm
mean,
saying
They
is-
love the 1-year deals.
Yeah,
I know,
but
but I'm
that's
saying
my point.
you've got to get the $20 million 1-year deal. You got to work on that.
I got it, but I
That's
guess
what
the way
I'm
I look at it
Or
is the
trade him.
1 year deals. I'm okay with the 1 years because
saying.
after this year,
folks
when you got a
overseas
lot
not
more
too happy about
contracts,
trading this
long-term
guy right
contracts
now.
you have to do. That's kind of how you play this game is you look for those kind of bargain deals. And guess what? There are going to be more people that are in the same situation as Robert Quinn, same situation as Eric Berry next year, that if you want to go out and do 1 year deals with those kind of guys, go do them. It happens every year that there are veterans who, like Dave said earlier, had that bad year, and now they're available on the cheap. So that's how you play that game, in my opinion.
I get it. But
I'll do one.
But how much are you talking about with Eric Berry? 8? Let's just say.
I don't even know. That's the and that's. He left here. I guarantee. You know, this is the first time he's ever been a free agent. He's going to look around, and I mean, it's the same thing as the draft. All it takes is somebody to be like, "Yeah, we'll give you $20 million."
Let's just say 9.
The Ravens swoop. Did you see the other offer that Earl Thomas was weighing a 1-year, $12 million offer from the Chiefs,
and was about ready to sign it. And
the Ravens were like, "Well, we'll give you 50."
Yeah.
So who the hell knows?
Right. 12.
I think Earl didn't want to say anything nice about the Cowboys.
That's fine.
He's probably a little bit happy.
Yeah, no,
because that's probably where he wanted to go. He probably assumed it was going to work out.
Yeah, he's going to say Kansas City was in the picture. When maybe Dallas might have been the picture. He just doesn't want to mention Dallas by
that's
name.
Fine. Either way,
he knows he got in trouble by mentioning Dallas the first time.
He upped
his
money substantially at the 11th hour. That's my only point.
It only takes one team.
He might have been pissed off the day before that game, and then whoever they were playing, he would have chased down that coach and been like, "Come get me when they kick me to the curb."
Who knows? Yeah.
Who knows?
All right, let's quickly. I want to take one call before the show's up. We have a call from Brian in Iowa. Brian, what up?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. I have a couple of questions. A couple of my Iowa Hawkeye players, T.J. Hawkinson and Noah Fant, if it's possible, if Dallas would want to trade up to get one of those tight ends, and then if Dexter Lawrence had a chance to fall in the Cowboys' lap, what would you guys think he would look like alongside Woods and Lawrence and possibly Quinn in that line? Thank you.
Nice little draft show question.
That's tomorrow at 11 a.m.
on the draft show.
Both those tight ends go in the first round.
I would give a finger to have either of those tight ends on this team.
Yeah,
but
got a knife.
The cost is large.
If you trade that defensive end.
Yeah. Hey, you want to trade number 90?
Go full circle right back to
here we go. Trade
show.
old number 90. Yeah. Now we're talking. Now you're at 26 and you have 58 and 59 and you can go up to 15 and get Hawkinson. Let's go.
There's no way they're going to use a high pick on a one technique. Lawrence is from Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
What if he said fall in their laps though? You think they'd use 58 on him? Not that he'll fall that far, but
I don't know. I mean, if they had to, I think that you'd have to. I think he's going to go. Okay, if he falls in your lap, yes, consideration. I personally think they're going to take that Boston College.
I know
defensive
you've made yourself. Well, my guy was on
Even
TV
if you
during
go
the
get
show.
Robert
Did you see
Quinn?
that?
What's that?
Even if they go get Robert Quinn, you still think they would go and
yeah. I think it's going to be about depth, and I mean we're talking 1-year deals and stuff and all that. I still think they feel like they need defensive ends.
It'll get
defensive
real
ends and
crowded
safety.
then, right?
Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah,
fight it out.
Tristan Hill.
Jonathan Abram was on NFL Network.
I know. I saw him. He looked good.
That's pick 58.
Can you tell us a little bit more? Who is he? I don't.
Mississippi State safety.
Garrett loves this guy.
Hits like an SOB.
38. What number at Mississippi State?
38. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him.
You like him?
He's what?
Yes.
So he must have had a good day that they
killed
played Arkansas. Yeah.
Yes, but he's like a linebacker, safety. Looks like Palomalu. Yes.
He's what Jason Garrett would call an RKG.
Yeah,
he's going to be available at 58.
Probably not.
I was about to say if he's that good.
If he's on NFL Network.
Not picking him at 58. We're picking him at 34 after we trade Tank to the Colts. Told you this.
Got it. My bad.
What are we doing?
I'm just
tomorrow at 11 a.m. We'll sort it all out.
Yeah, we'll sort it all out.
I got the headline on this show.
Right. Yeah. All right. We appreciate you guys joining us. We'll be back.
Tank to the Colts.
We will be back next week. Next Wednesday, we'll have more talk. Hopefully, there'll be more signings. Maybe a Robert Quinn in the building. We'll see.
Yeah.
Till then, for Nick Eatman, Dave Hellman, Brian Broaddus, I'm Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break, live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!